An often underlooked group of instruments on Bitwig is the E-drums. We have kick, snare, hi-hat, tom, clap, even a cowbell. They look pretty basic because they are pretty basic, so today we'll explain to you each one of them, how you can get the most out of them with all the Bitwig features. At first glance, the E-drums seems to be based on the Roland 808. Each one of them will have the basic parameters so you can craft the sound. On the kick we have a generator, the pitch modulation, and that's it. The other two knobs are the velocity and the output. For the sound you only have a decay for the amplitude. Longer decay will give you a tone. With the tune, well, you tune that tone, can go from 21 Hz to 82 Hz. And the click is a small burst of sound that will enhance the transient. Finally, you have a low-pass filter. As I explained on my video about programming kicks and snares, the way you get a transient is by applying pitch modulation. Here on the E-kick you can change the amount, the decay, and the curve of the decay. The snare is a little bit more complex, as it has two oscillators, a noise engine, and more options for the filter. Oscillator 1 is the main tone. This time you can go from 51 to 494 Hz, and you can change the decay of the amplitude. For oscillator 2 you cannot choose the Hertz, and the way you tune it is by offsetting it by semitones to the main oscillator. You start adding it with this oscillator knob, and you can even just listen to oscillator 2. But as I said, it's made to be more like a harmonic, maybe the ringing of the snare. Then we have the noise. Again, if you watch my kick and snare video, you will know that the noise can give you the tail. Or maybe a clicky transient. You can add a tag so it doesn't interfere with the tone. And you can change the tension. This one has the option to add width. On the filters we have a high cut for the whole sound, a low cut only for the noise, and a Q factor. The tom is, well, exactly the same as the kick, with the difference that the tuning goes from 30 Hz to 466. The hi-hat is a little bit more complex. It essentially begins as a noise engine, and you have attack and decay. Then you have a con filter that can be tuned from 466 all the way up almost to 4 kHz. The FM hit is a frequency modulated oscillator. We can choose the frequency for the carrier from 2.6 kHz to 14.9 kHz, and the modulator can go from 26 Hz all the way up to 4.7 kHz. This will give your hi-hat a more metallic sound. The cowbell is originally a tone, and you can even enable the keyboard tracking. Similar to the snare, the offset will, well, offset another oscillator, and the shape will give you another timbre. We also have ring modulation to make the sound richer. And finally, the envelope. You can also mix each oscillator differently. The last one is a clap. Programming claps is really easy. It's essentially a small burst of noise with a decay. That to add the clappy effect, you have to put some repeats. Of course, to listen we have to change the duration and start changing the color. Usually claps will have resonances on the middle and on the mid-highs. And that's our basic electronic drums. Of course, thanks to modulators, effects, and layering, you can get crazy results. For example, let's make the kick more aggressive. For that, I will start by adding saturation, fine-tune it, for the snare, I will also initially start by adding saturation, and I will add a modulator to modulate the resonance with a fast decaying envelope. I will also add a parallel reverb, for the tom, so it's different every time, I will simply add a random to change the tuning. I will also add a bit of saturation and a bit of reverb. Honestly, I feel the hi-hat is pretty nice. What we can do is to add the arpeggiator so we have more variation and changes in velocity. And by the way, I have a video on the arpeggiator right here. For the cowbell, we can go even crazier. And finally, for the clap, I will just add a little bit more of width, reverb, and I think we can also modulate the decay with a random, so we have more variation with this. And now I hope we have a more interesting sound on our drums. We can also add auto panning for different instruments. And to go even deeper, we can start adding effects to the whole drum kit, such as saturation or a bit of EQ, even a bit of compression. And why not, let's add one of my favorite experiments on the effects grid, which I showcased on this other video. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it did, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support my content and download this project, consider becoming a patron or a member of the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time, and bye bye.